Hi, this is Richard Fields with this week's Report from the Fields. You'll be happy to know that I will not bore you with a recent televised masochistic comedy. Presidential debate. The invited candidates and the moderators all discredited themselves by not once bringing up the one existential issue in the United States today. That would be how the candidates would fund their various giveaways and tax cuts, as well as the previous $35 trillion in accumulated debt for previous boondoggles. A vote for either Kamala or the Donald is a vote for dumb or dumber, or vice versa. The only sensible thing to do is to not vote, or to throw away your vote on a third-party candidate. And the only third-party candidate talking any sense at all is the LP's Chase Oliver. There is a reason to go to the polls, though, or mail in your ballot. I guess no one in California actually visits a voting booth anymore, and that is to vote yay or nay on 10 ballot issues. A vote there could actually significantly affect your life and financial future. And some of those votes might actually be close enough for your vote to be meaningful. 3 of those issues could significantly affect your financial well-being. Proposition 2 would okay the issuance of $10 billion in state bonds to be spent on schools. Predictably, this bond proposal is being championed by those who would directly benefit: the California Teachers Association, the California School Nurses Association, and the California Building Industry Association, which would get the union construction work. It's opposed by the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association. The cost of primary education in California has increased 40% since 2018. By contrast, the Consumer Price Index has increased by 25%. Education is already getting a disproportionate share of the newly created Federal Reserve funding money. If educators really want to spend more dollars on actually educating students, the place to find those dollars is by reducing administrative overhead, not by borrowing more money. Proposition 4 would authorize $10 billion in bonds to benefit the environment and climate. It would cost taxpayers an additional $16 billion in interest before the bonds are paid off. The proposition vaguely claims the money would be spent on water, wildfire prevention, and other environmental projects, but the spending would be audited. The place to start with water projects is to stop tearing down perfectly good dams. The way to curtail wildfires is to transfer timberlands to private timber companies whose motivation would be to make sure their timber can be harvested rather than reduced to ashes. This bond measure is little more than a feel-good proposal that would benefit climate fearmongers with a slush fund. Predictably, it's supported by those who directly benefit, including the Nature Conservancy, Clean Water Action, and National Wildlife Conservancy. The money is coming from Save the Redwoods and the Sempervirens Fund. It's opposed by the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association. Probably the worst proposition on the ballot is Proposition 5. It would reduce the majority needed for local bond approval measures from 2/3 to 55%. Predictably, it's backed by those who would directly benefit by the passage of more local bond measures, including the California Democratic Party, the California Teachers Association, and the California Professional Firefighters Association. It's 100% funded by Mark Zuckerberg. Yes, the same Zuck of Facebook, who publicly admitted recently that he actively censored your Facebook posts. Interestingly, it is opposed by the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, the Women's Veterans Alliance, and received funding from the California Association of Realtors. This is the easiest no vote of all the propositions. That's this week's Report from the Fields. I'm Richard Fields. See you again next week.